All right, Brian, Carmen, if you guys can please check in, just scan the QR code. Maggie is also going to be putting the check-in link in the chat regularly as I go through this. So if you don't get a chance to check in now, Maggie will also give you the link. So today we're going to be getting into the position module. This is all about your business models and your pricing strategy. Business models are the roadmap. They tell us how your business will exist in the world. Who are your customers? Who are your partners? How will it make money? What does it cost to build it? Will my revenue overtake the expense? There are many questions when you are getting started with your business, and the business model canvas, I find, is a really great, simple tool to identify all the things that you know and all the things that you don't know, and plot a course for testing those things out and creating value for your business. So there are many reasons that many startups fail, but I think a key one is that they don't have a roadmap. They don't know all of the different elements that are required for starting your business. They don't know how to implement their great ideas. I say this paralysis by analysis. So sometimes you may think, oh, I'm going to start this business. I'm going to partner with these people, and I'm going to go to these places, and I'm going to do these things. But it never really translates from idea to action. And so you start to overthink it, and you talk about it at Thanksgiving, and it's this big grand idea, but it never comes to life. And I think that it's because a roadmap is missing, a tool is missing to help you put your ideas into actions. And so a key tool that I use to plot a course and figure out the best path forward for your business is the business model canvas. And I'm going to be getting into that. But this is a really great chart by Strategizer. They're the company who has produced the business model canvas. And this says that as we reduce uncertainty, we create value. And so, what does that mean? How do we know what we don't know? How do we create something when we really are just at the beginning and we don't know what we have and what we don't have? And so using the tool of the business model canvas, we are going to look at everything that we don't know, and we are going to just get really comfortable with uncertainty and not understanding and not knowing everything. And we are going to create a plan of action for addressing each of those things that we're uncertain about. And as we reduce that uncertainty and we become a little bit more familiar with how our business really will exist in this world, we can create value. So as we reduce uncertainty, we create value. And so our goal is to get us to this point where we have a better idea of what our business model looks like in this world. And so the business model canvas is this has 9 core building blocks of a business. And we're going to go through each of those today and do an activity on each of those blocks. But this is a public tool that's available. It's produced by Strategizer. I highly recommend it. Download it from Strategizer. They have a really great book, Business Model Generation, that goes with this, and it's really a fantastic tool when you're just building out your roadmap. And so these are our 9 building blocks, and we're going to get into each of these as we get into it. But I know it looks like a lot, and our goal here is to go from like this 30-page business plan that people have done for years and distill it into a single sheet of action. And what can we create with this? And so generally, your business model canvas should be divided into 2. And so on the right here, the green, we have what I call the front stage, so the stage. And everything that is on the left is your backstage. So just like any performance, anything that you've ever seen on stage, think of your business in this way. So we're looking at a performance, and you're looking at the stage, and the things that you see the characters, you see the set design, you see the story. Those are all outward facing pieces of this play. But what you don't see is the choreographers and the people who are behind the curtain, right? The choreographers, the set designers, the script writers, all of the people that had to exist on the back end in order to make the front end happen. And so the reason that I call attention to this is because many people who are just getting started with their business, they may see the front stage of an existing business like Tesla or Airbnb. And they may think that, okay, I see exactly how they operate. You know, I've used their app. You know, I've used their service before. All I have to do is copy that or, you know, create my own version, my own flavor of that. You know, and I have a business. And so there's a little bit of this front stage that you could look at for inspiration for yours, but keep in mind that you don't know what's happening behind the scenes for them. You don't know who their key partners are. You don't know what their key resources are. You don't know what their expenses are. And so as you build out your business, be mindful of what's on the front stage that the people on the outside see and will always see, and what is supporting that business that other people don't ever have to know about. Like you can keep that to yourself. That's really between you, your founders, and your advisors. And so we're going to dig into all of this as we get into it. So I'd like to do an exercise as we go. We have that business model canvas in the chat if you guys would like to download that. If you don't want to download it or can't download it, you can also just grab a piece of paper and keep along notes as we go along. But we are going to be periodically stopping at each section on the business model canvas and filling in our canvases. So some rules, and I find that if we follow these rules, it gives us the best business model canvas for our function, what we're trying to do with it. So try to do at least 1 to 2 bullet points per box. You can do more, but for now we can do 1 to 2 bullet points per box. Note that I say bullet points and not sentences. This is really not meant for like sentences or paragraphs for you to describe your whole business model. And so it's just bullet points. And then separate different ideas and concepts into different bullet points. So if you have a really cool value proposition, you have a really cool product, tell me the features of that product, tell me the different elements of that in different bullet points. And that's really important for testing and separating things out. And then the last thing is that there shouldn't be any orphan items. Basically, everything in all of the boxes should be connected to each other, right? If you have something that's in a box by the time you're done that isn't connected to anything else, like you have a key partner on your partners list that isn't helping you do anything, either you strike that bullet off or you recognize that bullet's really important and you build the rest of the business model around it. So, but by the end of it, you should not have anything that's just hanging out there by itself that's not touching anything. All right, do we have any questions before we get into it? And feel free to just put questions into the chat at any time. And Maggie, if you can just call attention to them.
There aren't any yet.
Okay, great. So be sure to download the business model canvas out of the chat, or you can always just go to strategizer.com and download theirs. I think they require you put in your email address, but I think that's one of those that's kind of worth it. So the first section that we're going to start with our business model canvas is customer segments. Now, keep in mind, we're just doing single bullet points here. So who are we creating value for? Is this, what does the market look like? Think about Maggie's presentation on Tuesday and think about the type of market opportunity that exists. So, what is the name of that market? And what do all these people have in common? So, who are these types of customers? I know it's really common for people to say ages 18 to 36 or men and women in this area, in this region. And that's okay, but I encourage you to get as specific as you possibly can for your customer segment. So think of people who have a specific role, a job, maybe they are employed by the county, that kind of thing. So think about the actual person where if you had this product today, you would turn around and sell to them. So I can't turn around and sell a product to all 18 and 36-year-olds, 18, 36-year-olds. But if I knew it was somebody at the county who held this position, I could look them up and I could call them up and I could sell something to them, right? So be very specific about your customer segments. So let's take a few minutes and write down just a couple of bullets of who you think your customers are. And I want to highlight that this is a exercise in testing out things that we don't know and assumptions. So put things all over this canvas today that you don't know for sure, that are just a guess. That is what this is for. So, feel free to just put out ideas and brainstorm on here. Okay, so thinking about our customers, we have to think about the value that we're delivering to those customers. Now, the value proposition box can be the value itself. So what is the thing of value you've created? But it can also be the product itself. It could be the feature, and it could be the problem that you're solving. So each of those could be a different type of bullet point. But the key thing is that we don't want any bullet just standing alone. So the customers you've identified, think about what is specifically valuable to them. Think about the exact problem that they are facing, and think about the products or services that they would be interested in receiving. So these should mirror each other. Your product should match a customer segment. And if you didn't put one on your customer segment that matches your current product or your idea of a product or service, then, let's start to build these together and fill in your customer segment along with your value proposition. So we'll just give a couple minutes for that too. All right, so our value proposition, our value to our customers. Now we want to talk about your relationship with the customer. What keeps your customer coming back? What is the difference between a one-time purchase and an ongoing relationship? I like to use the example of a coffee shop, right? Like, so if you're traveling and you're going into a community that you're not familiar with and you really want a cup of coffee, there is the local coffee shop and then there's a Starbucks. People may actually go more towards the Starbucks than the local coffee shop, even though they know they should probably be supporting local, but they go to Starbucks because there's this relationship that they have built with Starbucks, right? Not only is it brand recognition and I know what I'm going to get when I go there, but maybe I have a punch card, maybe I have the app, I've got points, I've got stars I've got to use, and so tools like loyalty programs, apps, those sorts of things, they're actually customer relationship tools that keep your customers coming back. A lot of the businesses that don't do this, it's very possible that they will just have a one-time customer relationship with you. You came, you purchased something, and that's it. But for these companies that want to scale and get much bigger, like Starbucks, they will have customer relationship tools because they want to build that relationship with you and they want you coming back. So think about what is going to keep people coming back to your business. So we'll give a few minutes to do that. Next, that this arrow for customer relationships is all about how the customer interacts with the product. So channels is all about how that product gets into the hands of your customers. So this includes marketing channels. So how did it come to their attention? And physical marketing and distribution channels. So physical distribution channels. How does this come into my hands? Who am I going to partner with to get this delivered? Think about that, right? So we've got this customer, we've got this value proposition, this product, these features, these services that goes to my customers. I'm delivering that value to them. Maybe they're hearing about it through a newsletter. Maybe it's something that they come into my store and they receive. And then the relationship is maybe I've got a punch card. Maybe they can follow me on Instagram and they can see what I'm cooking up that week. These are types of relationship tools. And so everything that we've built right now is the front stage. This is what is external on my business. It's what people are going to see. when they think of the business that I'm starting. And so this is really the core of what you envision right now. But we should be thinking about everything that we need to support the front stage activities. And so a key one is key partners. My favorite saying is that partners don't pay each other, they help each other get paid. So think about somebody that you can work with who is interested in this solution and in this product, in solving this problem for these customers as much as you are. So, who do I need to work with in order to support the front end? Who do I partner with to develop my value proposition? Who has connections to customers that I can work with? Who will be a key marketing or distribution partner? And who will help me form the relationships with my customers? So notice that each of these questions is directly tied to a front stage activity. Who is going to help me develop my value, my product, the thing I am delivering to people? Who is going to help me with the relationship to my customers? Who is going to help me reach those customers through a specific channel? And who is going to help me with developing that customer relationship? Think of people, leveraging mailing lists. Maybe you're combining products and you're going to make an even cooler, better combined product that we're going to go together and we're going to sell to the customers. Maybe you have a relationship with an existing customer group that needs what I have and you're interested in getting that to them. Think about the types of partners that you can work with who are in support of your front end activities. Who are the people behind the curtain that are making it happen on the stage? So this one, we'll give a little bit more time for this one because it takes some time to think about who your partners are. Feel free to drop any questions into the chat. There's a lot to cover, but I'm always happy to stop and answer any questions. All right, so continuing on the back end support. The key activities I like to call our to-do list. So again, everything should be connected. Your key partners are connected to your value proposition, are connected to your customer segment. Everything is connected. We shouldn't have any orphan items. We shouldn't have anything that is standing alone. It should all be connected. If you have a partner in your key partners list that isn't helping you do any of those things, and they're just on there because they're friends, or because they must be on there, they don't have to see your business model canvas. So keep in mind that the partners that are on here should be helping you do something. And if they're on there and you didn't write down why they're there, build out the rest of the business model or strike them. And so your to-do list here, your key activities, is just a summary of everything, right? So what should I be doing to build my product? How should I be building that relationship with my customers? How should I be developing those customer channels? What do I need to do to reach these specific customer segments or to understand more about them? So think about key activities as your to-do list. It should be tied to pretty much everything. And I think of it as a summary block for the rest of the blocks you've just covered. And your key resources is generally your wish list. These are things that you are spending money on. This is the only place besides cost structure that you're going to be putting anything in here that you're spending money on. So think about your marketing, think about your website, your business cards. Maybe it's the rent to the building where your store is going to be. What sort of key resources are you going to need in order to execute everything that's on the front stage? In order to make your business happen, what things do you have to spend money on to make it happen? Now, your cost structure, really, we're not getting into numbers here. This is generally what above has a price tag on it. What are you spending money on? And just go through it, right? Like if I had said that people are going to hear about me through the website as a channel, then the website has to be a cost. If I'm going to be developing this really cool product that I've never made before, maybe I need to think about R&D as a cost structure. If I am building out a new app for my customer relationships, I need to think about the development of that app. I need to think about the deployment, the fees that I will pay for every month that I'm using that. So everything that comes with an expense should be listed on your cost structure, just very generally, all the types of things that are going to cost you money. We'll give it a couple minutes for you guys to fill that out. Okay, and your revenue streams. This is all of the different ways you can make money. Think about the direct sales, excuse me, subscription fees, licensing, advertising. Think about fixed versus dynamic pricing. All of the different, sorry about that, all the different ways that you can make money. And so think about your product. Think about as a direct sale. Are you going to have plans that go along with it? Are you going to sell, follow-on services, add-ons, features, that sorts of things. So think about all the different ways that you can make money besides direct sales and put them here. And if it is just direct sales, that's okay too. Our goal is to get it to the point where your number of revenue items is larger than your cost items. And that may not happen right away, but that's okay. The goal of this is to put everything onto one sheet so that we have a general idea of what we envision our business to be in detail. I will give you a few minutes to do revenue streams. Your business model canvas all together. You guys want to take a screenshot of this, but I will be sharing the slides after this class. But again, who are we creating value? What value is that to the customer? What problem are you solving? Who are you solving it for? How are they hearing about you? How are you maintaining that relationship? Who am I partnering with in order to create this cycle and this relationship with my customer? What items do I need to focus on? Where is money to be spent? How am I going to be making money? And generally, this is everything that you need when you are creating your business to think about. So, all of these items at this point, as you're filling out your canvas, or if you're going to fill it out later, all of these should be full of guesses and assumptions and things that we believe to be true about our business, but maybe we don't know yet. And the plan is to, reduce that uncertainty we have about our business by testing out each of these things. So, you don't know what you don't know. But by putting it to paper like this and adding some definition, you can start to ask your questions so that you can tell what you don't know, and you can begin to test those things and create value. And so this is generally the order that you can do it. I tend to swap channels and customer relationships every so often, so it really doesn't matter between those two. But you start. Actually, the whole thing is out of order. Should be customer segments, value propositions, customer relationships, channels. Okay, this is all out of order. And then key partners, key activities, key resources, cost structure, and revenue stream. I'm going to update this in the slides and give you guys the updated one. All right, so we are going to create what is called the ad lib. And basically everything that you've put into your business model canvas, we are going to turn it into a sentence that makes it really clear and easy to tell me about your business. And so if you want to spend some time, let's spend some time writing this up and putting it into the chat. And I will give you about 5 minutes to do this, but generally, take everything that you just put into your business model canvas. And if you didn't finish it, that's okay. We can fill this out as we go. You want to say that my product or service provides value to customer segment by short description. In order to deliver value to our customers, we have partnered with key partners who help us achieve, and you could say key partners, or sorry, key activities, product development, access to customers. You could just pick one. We expect to spend money on costs, product, key resources, and plan to make money by revenue streams, so subscriptions, one-time fees, direct sales, that sort of things. So I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes, and if you can put your ad lib in the chat, I would love to see what you've got. Does anybody want to share their ad lib in the chat? Brian, Carmen?
I was going to say there's only two of you. We can call on you.
I'm still typing. I have one more sentence left to do.
Typing, how ambitious.
Good. I mean, it sounds like download the
I'd love
PDF.
to, but I'm a pre-K teacher and with kids, so I'm on my lunch break trying to get in here. But thank you so
Oh,
much.
it's all good.
I got my listening ears on.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, yeah, these tools are really great. You can use on your own later. We put it into the chat, and again, you can download it from Strategizer. So whenever you can, it's designed to just be real quick bullet points. So, but we appreciate having
Absolutely.
you
Thank
here.
you so much.
Mhm.
And this business
Awesome,
model
Brian.
canvas it's a living thing, right? It's not one and done. It's something that you should be adjusting. Anytime you feel like you need to tweak your business a little bit, or you just want to revisit it, just print out a new one, do a whole new business model canvas. Car, do you want me to read what Brian wrote? Or Brian, do you want to?
Yeah, Brian, do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. My animal shelter provides value to tribes by providing animal placements on the reservation. In order to deliver value to our customers, we have partnered with other local animal shelters and the Pyramid Lake Paiute tribe who help us achieve animal adoptions and low-cost vaccine clinics. We expect to spend money on veterinary services and food supplies and enrichment activities for our animals awaiting their forever home. We plan to make money from animal adoptions and placements and from grants.
That's
That's
fantastic. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. So, this model of the ad lib makes it so that you can just distill all of the most important elements of your business model. And from this, I have a very clear picture of what you're doing, what you want to accomplish. And that's really exciting. So really, really great job, Brian. That looks good.
Thank you.
Carmen's giving you a thumbs up too.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Carmen.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, so Carmen, if you want to do this after class, this is a really, really fantastic tool to just distill everything that you're working on into a simple paragraph. All right,
Okay.
so moving on. This is just another page on that, but just explains how your canvas becomes a story. And so as we do this, we have identified all of the things that we don't know, right? Like I don't really know for sure if people want this product. I don't really know if these are really my customers. I don't know if these people are going to want to partner with me. I don't know if I'm going to actually make money. I don't know if the types of ways that I'm, saying that I'm going to be making money with the revenue, like direct sales or subscriptions. I don't know for sure if people are going to be interested and be willing to participate. So right now we start with an idea. It's a concept. And what we're going to do is we are going to take those questions that Maggie presented in the last class, and we are going to test that uncertainty. We're going to talk to our customers. We are going to understand a little bit more about our relationship to them and see if they're willing to be the supporting characters that are behind the stage, or if they are willing to support what's on the stage. And so as we reduce that uncertainty, we create value. And our goal is to get to a point where we have validated our business model and we know more about how it's going to exist in this world, and we know a little bit more about our roadmap. So we're going to get into a different topic here, and we're going to be talking about pricing strategy. So pricing, so think about these 6 pricing factors when you're thinking about pricing out your product or service. Think about the sales volume, think about the sales revenue, your market share, think about your company's competitive advantage. Your company image and your brand is a key component to the pricing strategy. And think about what it would take for you to be profitable. It's a common mistake that when you put a price on it, a lot of people will just say, well, okay, how much did it cost me to make it? All right, that's my price. Or they just put an arbitrary number on top. They're like, okay, it cost me $15 to make it. I want to make $5. So they're like, okay, the price is $20. And so it's a little bit more developed than that. So we want to think about, yes, the expenses and all the costs, but we also want to think about what is the value to our customer, and what price could we charge. And you also want to factor in all of these other things that are not just about the production of the product. What does it take to get it into the hands of those customers? So think back about your channels and your customer relationships. All of those things that are in your key resources box, those things are all going to cost you money. So pay attention to everything that's going to cost you money, but then, don't just base the price off of that cost. Start to think about what the value is. So it's not how much should I charge, but how much can I charge? So let's talk about the 3 steps for pricing out your product. First, you want to evaluate your pricing position and your constraints. So low, high, or parity. Think about regulation, competition, and demand. Second, you want to consider your pricing strategies and your policies. So thinking back to Tuesday, talk about, who's your target market, what's your market position, and what is the profit potential. Think about your product in terms of the volume, bundled, fixed pricing, high margin, low margin, discount pricing, all of the different ways that you can price this product out. You want to give discounts, you want to go on big sales, that sort of thing. And then 3 is set prices. So, what is your cost? What is your market price? What is your return on investment, your price positioning? So relative to other people in the market, how much are you charging? And then what is the perceived value to your customers? And then are there substitutes that exist out there? It's really important we talk to our customers, we follow our customer discovery questions, and we understand a little bit about this problem that we're solving. We understand the world that it's in. We understand how we are going to make it come to life. And we understand how big of a problem it is and how big of a need it is for our community. And we can identify sort of that perceived value and identify how much we can charge based on the value to the customer. So how big of a problem is it to them, and what is their threshold that they're willing to pay in order to solve this problem? So this is a really great chart matrix that's available in Canvas. I recommend you go into Canvas and you read into this. It goes into much more detail than I am going to be today. But pay attention to the price points and the benefits versus the drawbacks versus, so if I have a lower price versus a higher price or parity price, what are the benefits versus the drawbacks? Maybe, it's too low, maybe it's too high, and how that affects your positioning in the market. So again, this is in Canvas, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it today. Some additional tips for your pricing services. So pay attention to what is your customer willing to pay? What is the perceived value of the product and the value that they're receiving? So think about that problem that you're solving. Look at other competitors and see what their prices are. And then your reputation as the company and who you are in the community, that affects your pricing strategy. So like if you've been around a long time, people know you can set a certain price point and people are willing to pay for that. If you are newer and people don't know you and you're still trying to get some traction, maybe a lower price point might work for you. And then consider some of your expenses too. Think about taxes and things that you have to incorporate into your price. So think of it holistically that way. So there is an exercise you can do, which is creating a price list. And the goal is to make accessing your product or service as easy and as exciting as possible. So think about this as like a menu. Like a restaurant menu. So put on here like pictures, the item itself, the details, how much it costs, and then, how much of that is taxes, how, what is bundled versus a single item. Really, this is for you, so that you can dig in and see, okay, these are all the different things that I can sell. These are all the different price points that I have. This is the type of money I'm looking at. If this is my menu, I sell it today. You want to create this for your own visibility for your product, but then when you're ready to launch, it's also for the visibility of your customers so they know exactly what they're going to get. Again, product pictures, item descriptions, other policies, things like that. So creating a price list at this point is really a good idea for you to just put it to paper, just like the business model canvas, just put it down to paper, get an estimate, look at what it is going to be if it existed tomorrow. And then you can go from there. I find that it's easier to change and to pivot and evolve your ideas when you first put it down on paper, and you can then look at it and say, okay, I'd like to change this, I'd like to change that. It's harder to do that when it stays in your head the entire time, because then it's kind of like this nebulous concept that it's really hard to pivot if you never really just like put a point in time where you're like, okay, this is what it is. So I encourage you to put things on paper that are not real yet, that are ideas, that are brainstormed. So your price list, your business model canvas, those kinds of things. And so in this pricing strategy, we've covered generally how much to charge, the 3-step pricing process, factors affecting pricing, and your price list. But again, these 4 items, these detailed items, are going to all be found in Canvas. And I recommend that you log in there and you check out some of the activities that we have online to just complement what we talked about today. And that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
No, I don't. Pretty.
Brian, I have questions for you then.
Okay.
So let's talk about your business a little bit. So you are going to be placing animals in homes on the reservation. And where are you going to get your animals?
Well, ideally, well, it's a mix because right now our tribe, they have no way to place animals. So if there's a dog bite on the reservation, there's no way for them to take the dogs in to like isolate them to, see if they have all their vaccines. And if a dog has puppies, there's no way for anyone to take them in because right now the Washoe County shelter, they won't take any of our animals that come from the reservation. So
Why
there-
is that?
I think it has to deal with just because it's from the tribe. So I guess jurisdiction or what have you. So if for example, I found a dog, a puppy, and I called the rangers and they're like, well, we can't take them because no other shelter will take them if they come from the reservation. So I'm not sure if it's like misunderstanding or what have you, or people drop off animals just because it's on the reservation. And so there's really no way, there's nowhere for any animals that are found on the reservation to go. And I know that a lot of the shelters are overpopulated in the Reno area. So also being able to provide an overflow for those shelters as well. So really just providing a service. So when I was thinking about the pricing, I was like, well, I don't really know what to price it because I'm really just providing a service here. I'm not trying to sell a product or anything. I'd really be sustaining the business based upon like donations or grants or even, some of the small fees that I could collect from directly from the other shelters or also even from the tribe too for animals that are placed within the shelter here on the reservation.
I think you probably should charge something. You don't want it to be very expensive, but you do
No,
have
no.
costs that you have to meet. And are there, like in Southern California, or even Northern California, are there like kill shelters where you could be rescuing some of the animals? But then I don't know how much demand you have already. Is it the case that there are families who would like to have a dog, but they just don't because it's too hard to go out and find them?
It could be, and then also just the expensive like vaccines and spay and neutering, and every couple of years, our tribe will partner up with Indian Health Services because they'll do random vaccine clinics, and then like one time since I've been here for like 20 years, they've had a spay and neuter clinic for our animals. There's really no there's no resources for people if they wanted to have a dog or an animal or a cat or what have you, just because it is so expensive. Food and vaccines and getting spayed and neutered, or even just getting annual checkups for their animals. I mean, there are a bunch of res dogs in my neighborhood, and I highly doubt any of them have ever seen a vet. So, I mean, there's just a lot of cost barriers to owning an animal and also being a responsible animal owner. That's what I would like to promote as well by, being able to provide these low cost services to our members.
I have so many ideas. Like you shouldn't do anything. You should do whatever you want to do. What you could be doing though is partnering with, like, Cassie is a shelter in Carson City. And so if they do drives to get donations for dog food, then you could partner with them. I think there are other groups that you could partner with so that you would be able to have a presence in whatever events they're doing, so that you could gather donations of food and then build relationships with vets who will come. You may only be able to do like a spay and neuter clinic twice a year to begin with, but as you build relationships, you might be able to do it on a quarterly basis and then maybe every other month, and just kind of build up the resources that you're able to have so that you can support your whole reservation with what their animal needs may be. And I would hope that at some point one of the kids wants to go and be a vet, and then
Right,
maybe
yeah.
they'll come back and even if they're working in some other city, that they would have the desire to come back and do a day long, let's just check out dogs, like, or cats or whatever, let's just have a free clinic day.
Yeah, we also have a local high school here, so I definitely would love to partner with the high school and being able to provide some sort of, internship or something so our students can, that might be interested. Like my niece, she was interested in being a veterinarian, but she switched to environmental science. But I think it maybe if there were more opportunities for our youth to be able to, work with animals, or even, we have the clinics or have you, just trying to get them exposed to this field and get them interested. And like you said, maybe one day, they remember us, and come back and want to help out or volunteer or do something. So yeah, definitely a lot of things that we can do, and I have plans to do.
It's a process though,
Yeah.
especially since if you're able to get a grant, that'll get you well on your way to getting started with these things. But I do think if you're going outside and you're partnering with other groups, that you'll benefit from that they'll want to help. Oh, and does your local high school have like a volunteer program? Are the students required to do a certain number of volunteer hours? Because if they are, and you are recognized, I mean, your tribe is recognized, then you should be able to provide just a statement of how many hours somebody has donated to, even just coming in, playing with the animals, feeding them, cleaning up after them, that kind of work. You should be able to set up a partnership with the high school if they do have that volunteer requirement. And a lot of them do these days.
Yeah, I know that their unity group, they have, hours they have to volunteer. And then also the Reno Sparks Indian Colony, their unity group, they, they'll come out here to Pyramid Lake because some of their students are from Pyramid Lake. So they'll come out and they'll help out in different events too. So there's always that opportunity to partner up with that unity group, as well as other local tribal unity groups throughout the area.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for you.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited too.
All right, Carmen, thank you. It's a holiday weekend, so have fun.
Awesome. Thank you everyone for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Brian, and good luck to both of you.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.